AGN would like to thank our sponsor, Wirecast. Wirecast software lets you produce professional-looking live events with just a camera, an internet connection, and a computer. Stream or record live internet shows, broadcast breaking news or sporting events, stream live concerts, transmit church services, corporate meetings, lectures, and much more. Wirecast, your webcasting presentation solution.
Welcome to Araxis Global Network, the premier voice of objective reporting, covering the events that affect your world, your life, and your PlanetSide 2 news and information. We cover what it means to be a PlanetSide 2 fan. You love the game, you will love the AGN. We are your #1 source of all things PlanetSide 2, featuring spot-on and up-to-date updates. Yes, we said up-to-date updates that will promise to whet your appetite for PlanetSide 2 news. Will you find cutting-edge information as well as breaking news screenshots on AGN? Does a pole dancer have thighs that can crush your head? Yes! And now, introducing your distinguished hosts, your friends and fellow PlanetSide 2 groupies, Hamma and Marsman.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Araxis Global Network for September, Community Night for September. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in here tonight. September 1st. Well, yes, I'm aware of this. But welcome, everybody, to the show. And I am joined here by Jenny Boo.
Hi, everyone. I'm wearing I Bring the Hammer t-shirt. Yeah. If you can see it. I don't know if you can.
Now they can see it.
There you go.
Indeed. She does bring the hammer.
I'm bringing the hammer, and I'm bringing some live footage.
Yes, we will be streaming some PlanetSide 2 live, kind of in between our conversations, just to kind of fill things in. It'll be Jenny Boo playing. So if you guys...
represent the VS tonight.
Yep. If you guys have any questions or anything like that while we're doing the show, just let us know, and Jenny Boo can kind of go there and show you whatever it is that you're looking for. We're joining you here for the first community night post NDA. So it's going to be it's going to be an awesome night. We're going to have a lot of interesting discussions going on. And I think we're going to have some great stuff going on for sure.
Now that we can talk about it.
Yeah, now that we can actually talk about the game in a way that we don't have to hide what's going on or hide what we know or anything like that. For those of you who don't know, the last AGN we did, everybody who actually was on the air was
in beta,
in the PlanetSide 2 beta, and couldn't talk about the game because, well, they had to pretend like they didn't know what we were talking about. So it was a very interesting broadcast where everybody did really well, and we talked about some topics that were kind of related to other people who played who weren't under an NDA. So it was we were able to kind of work past it, but. So we're going to be joined by a panel of community guests here tonight, and we'll get to them in just a minute here, too. Just another couple things to talk about. We have Matt Higbee coming live on the air 1 week from tonight at 7 p.m. next Saturday, so be sure to tune into that. We're going to be talking to him about beta. We're going to have a little bit of a panel of folks talking to him as well, similar to our old style that we had done with him in the past. So be sure to tune in for that. It's going to be awesome. We'll be doing some live streams probably over the next, week or so, just on and off.
Apparently people want to see me snipe some more.
Yeah, apparently people want to see Jenny Boo play the game some more, and she's way better at it than I am. So we'll try and stream some more of that for you guys to see. We may stream some more outfit ops. It just depends on what's going on. But hopefully you guys enjoyed our streams and have been enjoying our YouTube channel content that's been coming out over the past week or so. We tried to bring you as many hours as we could as possible before the NDA lifted. I think there's probably 10 hours of PlanetSide 2 footage on our YouTube channel now, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. It was a blast to do, and live streaming is something that's new to us that we haven't ever done before. So
I just find it weird that people want to see me run around, get killed over and over.
I know, right?
Yeah, I do get my kill streaks, but I don't get the fascination with it. But if you like it, let us know.
If you enjoy it,
we'll
yeah.
Try it.
If you guys have any requests or suggestions for shows that you'd like to see us do on, here on the air, just let us know, and we'll try and bring that to you. But in the meantime, again, first post NDA community night, so it's going to be a lot of fun here tonight, and we're going to go ahead and start bringing in our community guests and start introducing them to you guys. And we are joined by not all the same people that we usually have, but we have a couple new faces, and we have some old faces as well that we're going to go ahead and introduce. I'm going to go ahead and bring him in. Oh, and he's laughing. See, you just ruined my whole intro. I'm just kidding. All right, we are joined once again by Basti. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Basti. Yay.
Yay.
Welcome to the show again, Basti. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Not that you have to.
So.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Fucking light in the room.
I think everybody can see
Basti,
it.
Vanu, done.
All right. That's it. That's it, huh? All right.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. I thought he was gonna get us all excited. He got me all hyped up, saying this was a new intro.
I know, like he had some new fancy thing going on, and then it's just that. Oh, I forgot to mention, we're also going to have some beta keys tonight, folks. So if you're not in beta yet, keep an eye on.
You will be if you get the keys.
Yeah, if you get one of these keys, you'll be in tonight. So be sure to keep an eye on the screen for that. I'm just going to pop it out randomly throughout the broadcast here. So, all right, we are also joined once again by Manitou. Go ahead and say hello.
Hey y'all, it's good to see you. Well, I'm glad to be back and enjoying beta, as probably a number of us are. And it's good to help support Ham and Jen on this program. So looking forward to tonight, see what the discussion is. I'm glad we can finally talk about it.
Indeed. We've all been waiting a long time to actually be able to talk about the game in a real way, so it's going to be a fun show tonight. All right, we're also joined by Centrosi, who is a new guest on the show tonight, and welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks, Ham and Jen, everyone else. I'm Centrosi. I'm just happy to be part of beta finally, and happy to be part of AGN.
All right, awesome. Okay, we're also joined by Captain Insanio here tonight, with his always famous headgear in tow.
Oh, it's good to be back again. Really enjoy what's going on in beta at the moment. Getting some chance to play around in there. Finally formed up clan I'm in now, Exco. Hope to be seeing more of us later on in the year, and really hope that what comes along in the game is good for it.
Indeed. All right. And last but certainly not least, we are joined by Deathshot. He's been on the show in the past, and he's rejoining us again. Go ahead and say hello.
Hi guys, I'm Deathshot, and if you remember me, I'm with the Blue Lions, from PlanetSide 1. We're also forming back up on PlanetSide 2 beta, so if you guys are looking for a good outfit for our PlanetSide 2 on the Nuke Nular, look us up.
All right, awesome. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started here right off at the top with our topic list. To those of you who are not aware of what our topic list is, it's on the front page of PSU. Click AGN at the top, and you'll see it there. I think it's the second news post down or somewhere around there. We're going to kind of just call people off and see how things go. And our first topic is, it would be helpful if even Hammond knew what the first topic was, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be useful for the show here today?
That's okay.
Too many windows to look at. Our first topic is, what are your thoughts on the PlanetSide 2 beta? Now that we've all actually had a chance to play the game, what are your thoughts overall on the beta? I'm going to go ahead and start from left to right in the Google Talk window that you guys can see at the bottom. I think it's in the same order for you guys as it is for me. If it is in the same order, then Captain Insanio is on the left, so he's first.
Oh boy.
So what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm glad that Lassie's not going first, so that's a small mercy for him. My thoughts is that it's a long way to go till release. That's honestly what I think about it. And honestly, right now, I'm really looking forward to seeing Ezimir. They've hinted at, and they're working on that in internal tests that they've said. But right now, Indar feels small. The speed you can move across constant and airborne is really fast. And for those of you who played the original, think old Osher for fly times from one end of the con to the other, because it really feels like they're going to need to change how the warp gates are handled right now, because it feels like a perpetual three-way. Imagine if the only continent was Sizor. Imagine if all three sides were pop locked constantly. And you get the sort of mental image of how it's working. It's how it's working right now. It's not that dynamic.
Well, give it time.
Exactly
All right.
like I said, there's a long way to go, and I'm looking forward to seeing it get there.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Next up is Manitou. What are your thoughts on beta?
It's meeting some of my expectations, and again, I understand we're in beta, so I take all that into account. We're early in beta actually, so I know that a lot of the stuff we're seeing is they're still working on it. What I am encouraged by are the battles that I thought were going to occur. So you guys watched our stream with kind of an embed with Ham and Jen. We're in our outfit doing some organized ops. And the battle we had at the tower, that kind of stuff, when it generates that kind of battle, I'm excited about that. I'm seeing a lot of those and seeing opportunities to do that. So that thrills, it gives me a thrill to realize that's going to be the case in the future. So I'm excited about it. I like where it's going. I like the continued interaction with the devs. They're listening to us, the feedback we're giving. So they're really on that, and they're opening up their conferences to us to see what they're doing to fix this game. So I'm looking forward to that. And my phone just went off. Sorry about that.
That's awesome.
That was Matt calling me to check up on that. Right. But I'm excited about it. I think what we're seeing here is a great game in the making. So I'm excited what's going on. And I understand there's bugs in it, and we talk a lot in our outfit about it. But it is meeting my expectations. So I have high expectations of this game. And it's not PlanetSide 1. It's not that one. But it does. I get the aftertaste of PlanetSide, which is good. So either way, I'm excited about it. Can't say that enough.
All right. Awesome. I don't know where that random sound is coming from. I don't know if you guys are hearing that. It sounds like somebody might be using speakers or something, and it's coming back and looping through. So if anybody's, it's not that bad. It's not ruining the broadcast or anything. But I'm hearing like some clicking noises when you guys are talking. So if somebody's got their speakers turned up, I probably want to turn them down a little bit.
That's probably my keyboard. I apologize.
Okay, it's not a big deal. It's not ruining everything, but
I'll stop.
Oh, it's ruining it.
Oh, it's ruining everything. The show is destroyed.
Another victory for the Vanish Sovereignty.
Yeah.
Shut up, Marty.
Indeed. All right. Next up, we have Deathshot. What's your opinion on the game now that you're playing it?
Well, I like how the game is handling itself right now. I mean, it's a lot better than it was in the tech test, if I'm going to be honest. I do see a lot of glitches now and again, but it's like we said, it's in early beta right now. I do look forward to seeing a lot more weapons, certifications, all that kind of stuff being a lot further on. But what I like is the management of resources. You have to be careful with your vehicles, and you have to manage on making sure you want to keep them alive as long as possible. They're not disposable anymore, folks.
That is true.
And one other thing is that teamwork is very essential in this now. You have to stay oriented with the rest of your teammates. Communication is important. Voice over protocol is still a little buggy, but they improved it a lot since the last time.
Yes, that is for sure. All right.
Yay.
Awesome. Next up, we are joined by Centrosi. So what are your thoughts on the game?
Well, in PlanetSide 1, I kind of did a hodgepodge unit we eventually called SOAR, Special Operations Advanced Recon. Basically, I had a task of a small squad of about 5 or 6 people who I would take behind enemy lines and blow gens, do anything to try to move front, so to speak, try to divert enemies from the front to resecuring these bases. Right now in beta, I don't get that. I don't get that sense of, okay, I've got to, I can go behind enemy lines and I can take out these bases, I can take out these outposts. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to how the Infiltrator class is going to work, because I loved hacking in the original PlanetSide. And for those of you who aren't in beta and have played PlanetSide 1, if you liked playing the Infiltrator, you're going to be probably not liking it PlanetSide 2 right now. Understanding that it is still in beta. They're looking at stuff, they're tweaking everything left and right. So that's what I'm looking forward to in beta, as well as, blowing some gens and spawn tubes and creating general ruckus behind enemy lines.
Indeed. All right.
What do you think, Hamma? You have opinions.
Well, Basti hasn't spoken yet.
I guess we'll let Basti go next.
Trying to shut.
What did I do to you, Johnny? What did I do?
Trying to shut Basti out of the broadcast
I'm
tonight.
sorry.
Unbelievable.
Johnny, I'm really sorry for whatever I did.
So, what are your thoughts, Basti?
Well, as the first person shooter thing really is, they got them down. I mean, I'm just ranking up the kills. I love it. I absolutely love it. But the PlanetSide thing has still work to do. Ender really feels small, and besides that, it's just back and forth. You just don't do anything else than capturing a point, getting pushed back, capturing the point again, getting pushed back again, and it's just endless. With that, it wouldn't really fill me in for ever. It would just be a year at max, and then I'm just bored.
Valid concerns.
To be fair, I'm getting bored right now a bit because you're trying to push forward, you're trying to somehow communicate with the rest of the forces to go there instead of there, and everyone just spreads out, get punched in the face, and you're back at the warp gate trying to keep some territories because the identity just double-team you. Maybe the mission systems changes it, maybe some other stuff changes this, but right now it just...
He's just brooding.
I'm still playing every day for several hours. So something is right with the game. And it's getting better. It's getting better with every patch.
Okay. All right, I think Manny had something to say.
Yeah, I was just going to follow up with what Basti said there. I understand where he's going with that, and that can happen. But one thing I'm realizing, and that can happen in a game, but I think what makes this relevant, and this is what plays to the strength of PlanetSide 2, is the effect you can have with organized ops. If you have a squad, and I know he's got a great organization, a great outfit, if you can do that, it is back and forth, because that's what war is about. But if you go to, in regular FPSs, they aren't back and forth. You go in, you win the map, and the map's over with. They don't last very long. That's the beauty of PlanetSide. You're going to go in, and it's going to be back and forth, and it will always be back and forth. So there's never any end to it. Now, granted, that can, for some, get a little boring, and I think we're going to see more stuff, more dynamic come into it as they open the game up. So I would encourage Basti not to. I know he's not giving up on it because he's a diehard fan, but it's beta. So we're going to get there, and I think that when we see more of the additions come in, like some of the stuff for the armor upgrades for like the personal armor and things like that, I think it'll begin to open up a little bit. But I can see his point. But I do also see the fact that it's going to get better. And they took care of the whack-a-mole issues we were having from feedback. Got rid of some of that stuff where you're not running around constantly chasing one guy who's capping all the points. They took care of that and added some stuff. So I'm encouraged by that. But I'm not as worried maybe as Basti is about the back and forth, because I know that that's going to be there. And I kind of actually like it because it's unlike other games where you make a good hard push and take the map and it's over with. And there's nothing after that. Then you go to the next map or next level.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Okay, guys, I'm going to disconnect the stream real quick and reconnect with a better setting. We're going to keep the discussion going because I'm also recording, but you guys are going to lose the cam for a second, and then it's going to come back up again. So we'll be back in just a moment. Those are tuning in live. Did anybody else have any comments on what Manny had to say?
The back and forth, the thing in PS was that there was back and forth, but it may have taken a week to get back. It wasn't an immediate back and forth. Like, you win a map, but then the map resets, you do it again. That's sort of back and forth in there. But in PS, you went forward, took the base, and you could move on. There was progression to it. And then if you were pushed back, it's because the enemy pushed you back through it. Right now, it feels like everything is sitting right along the lines that separate the three biomes. And it feels like it's not moving very much. Sure, you have a base taken here, but within about half an hour, it'll go back. I was talking to Red Rum about this recently. Well, Evil Red Rum. He's one of the devs. And he said they're trying to change a little bit of that, and they're experimenting with the Zuravan. They changed the capture mechanics for that to allow for longer base fights. So hopefully I want to see things go more that direction. I'm really interested to see how the experiment with Zuravan turns out. I've only seen it change hands once.
Fantastic.
Actually, I like to add in something onto Zurban. Currently, right now, it's only on one capture point inside the base, and there's a lot of spots around the spawn room that can be camped outside for guys with the machine gun turrets, the mana turrets, to set up right there and just mow everyone down coming in. It's ridiculous. Last night I witnessed a whole slaughter fest with VS trying to get out with max suits primarily. We mowed them down pretty badly with 3 mana turrets, just holding that one position. Right now, I don't like how it's set up, especially with the generator for the spawn room on the far side of the base, and it will drive you a little nuts. They also haven't updated the map for with the configuration of the base right now, if you have not noticed it.
Zurban is brilliant.
Zurban is a little. It's I believe it's like the prototype area. It's the staging area for everything being developed for the rest of the amp stations.
They're adding things and retracting things. They're making the bases their own unique thing.
Yeah, it's true because the map mechanics, the mini map, plus the main map, it doesn't show all the new stuff. I mean, there are now new choke points for infantry to stream in, literally, completely blocking off vehicles. It's essentially, I think, you can call it breaching area. I don't know. I mean, I've seen it gets pretty intense in those areas.
That's the point. That's Zurban.
I know.
That's why the space is actually good the way it is. I mean, I agree it needs some changing because right now the only way to get inside the capture point is by going right by their spawns, and you end up just being like in a massive slaughterfest at their spawns. And moving the entrance somewhere else so you just don't have to go right by their spawns would help, but the basic idea of Zurban is the way it should be for all bases. Not running back and forth between capture points, but actually pushing forward one certain capture point.
Well, Basti, one of the things they're doing with the multiple points, and one of the points behind is to spread player counts out so they can reduce the load. Because that seems to be a big thing they're trying to do, like it comes up repeatedly in their discussions, is a way of spreading the load on the server and the player load so they actually have decent FPS.
The server load isn't a concern because it's all in the base anyway, it's all one server, whatever. And if they want to actually decrease the player load, sorry, but if I want that, I play Battlefield 3. I'm playing PlanetSide 2 because I want to see 100 players on the screen. That's the point of the game. Removing that is basically...
That is an issue that has to be brought up multiple times, Basti. I mean, they are trying their best to increase the amount of player models that are showing up on your screen. But right now it's beta. Give them time. Okay?
Now, speaking of adding things on screen, can we bring in this Med's blog here for a second and talk about Seamless Worlds?
Go right ahead.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. If those of you who haven't read the Med's blog, he's talking about the future of the game, like looking way down the road, and one of the technical challenges he says he wants to get into and overcome is the ability of basically getting rid of loading screens and like travel times or anything like that. Basically, the entire world is one giant group, and you can travel wherever you want to. And he's thinking about this and say like adding water between the continents and adding naval battles for that. And while that's cool, my question right now is, why water? Why can't we have a land war in Asia?
Because water's cool. Because boats would be awesome.
I'm just saying, well, if you guys think about it, we've stretched over on all battlefields, currently in the air and on land. Why not on the sea?
The more important question is how. I mean, seamless continents means you could go with 666 players from India to some other continent. What if that other continent already has 666 players?
I'll be honest with you on some of this. The seamless continents idea, it's going to seem similar to what other game mechanics come from. Primarily, there's one by what a game you probably haven't heard called Armora 2. That has a huge map space, about 220 kilometers wide. It's pretty big, and it will overwhelm you. And to be honest, if Smedley wants to go for a seamless continent where you don't have to have any load screens, get to another continent, what is the point of the warp gates then? Seriously.
That is warp gates? Quick transport, done.
Well, the warp gates were primarily used for traveling throughout for the first PlanetSide game. Why? If he wants to go for a seamless continent, does he want to remove that mechanics too?
I don't think so, because isn't warp gates going to be kind of like Sanctuary now that there isn't Sanctuary?
They're supposed to be. Well, remember he did
safe zones.
He was going to have a player-based continent where you can actually create your own. Yeah, I think that's going to be the new Sanctuaries.
Right.
Probably not.
No, that's something totally different. I just want to jump in here real quick. I don't know if you guys are still experiencing stream lag. If you guys are seeing lag on any of the guests, it's because they are coming in through a webcam, and so you're going to see lag on them either way. Jenny Boo and myself shouldn't really be lagged all that much.
The stream footage maybe.
Yeah, the stream footage
just how
may be
we're
lagged.
Streaming it.
But we shouldn't be lagged. Everything on our end appears to be working the way that it should be functioning. And so if you guys are seeing lag, I apologize. I did reconnect on a lower stream, lower bitrate. So those of you out there may have been experiencing some lag based off of that. It's
a feature, not a bug.
Yes, exactly. It's a feature. So I apologize if you guys are lagging. It likely is on your end. I am not seeing any problems here other than high CPU usage, which is to be expected when you're doing live streaming. I didn't get a chance to talk on what my thoughts were.
Go right ahead.
Because
this is your show after all. I mean,
because I was fixing stuff.
What about my thoughts?
Yeah, of course.
Wouldn't you like to know?
Let's first have Hamma give his thoughts out since he's been waiting patiently.
Do you have do you want to go?
Hamma patient?
Do you want to go?
You don't know him very well, do you?
Why don't you go on what your thoughts are on beta, Jen?
I think the overall FPS feel, it's really tight. They've got some balancing issues, but I mean, let's not get into all of those. I mean, we could talk all night. But it feels like PlanetSide, but it doesn't feel like PlanetSide. I mean, we got to realize that it is a different animal. It's PlanetSide, but it's not going to be like the original. So all of us vets have to just come to the realization that we're not going to have everything we want from the original game due to the simple fact that it's they're trying to go a different direction.
Game. For sure.
So, but overall, loving it. Last couple patches have really made it. I really like the changes. All I gotta say is, if any devs are listening, dear God, please help us with the AA.
Yeah, I know, right?
And the Reaver spam.
Please, yes, we need to fix that, especially with the base turrets. We've been having issues taking down galaxies.
Right now,
it's
they own the
underpowered,
skies. So. Everybody who has rockets own the skies. They have no fear of AA.
Exactly,
and there should be a healthy fear. I'm not saying one max should take down, a bomber, but one max should scare a Reaver or a Mosquito or a Scythe. Mm-hmm. Right now there is no fear. I don't know if you guys feel the same.
Just doing this, going up and down with their air-to-ground rockets, and there's like 15 people firing flak at them. That's an issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, especially if you've not heard that sound issue. I mean, it's so deafening when you hear all those flak explosions go off in your head. Yeah, it actually broke my my original speakers last night, so I get a new pair today.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's not fun, man.
So my thoughts are, I've gotten a chance to play the game quite a bit, and I got in tech test pretty early. So as far as what has happened since tech test has started, there has been just a huge, vast improvement to pretty much across the board to the game. They continue adding more and more things to the game that make it even better. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the feel of it. I think that PlanetSide needs more space to play, like I think Captain Sanio was mentioning, but we've got more continents on the way, right? So that's not something that they don't know.
Right, we've got Amherst and Esmir on the way.
And
Those are
so,
going to be on the release.
right. And so, I mean, I have concerns about the warp gates being stuck on the continent all the time, and there always being a foothold as well. I'm not quite ready to say that should go yet, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't really like the way that it works. It seems like if you're playing one empire, you're going to be fighting in the same spot almost every night, especially once they put in territory adjacency requirements, because apparently that's broken right now and not working properly. Once they start forcing that, I think it's going to make it so that you're almost going to be stuck in the same place all the time. So that I'm a little bit concerned about that. But overall, in terms of this game, and it has met my expectations for sure. It's a massive shooter, which is what we all wanted. It looks incredible. The graphics are just totally incredible. I've been killed numerous times already just sitting there staring off into the distance looking at, sunsets or whatever. So, I mean, it looks incredible. The gunplay feels pretty good. Still needs some tweakage. And obviously there's balance concerns as well. That's one of the topics actually here tonight. So we'll come up to that here.
Oh, that could be all night, Ham. Are you sure you want to do that?
Right. Well, it's not going to be overall balance. It's going to be kind of a,
the biggest ones.
Yeah. Well, I don't have specific balance topics to talk about.
AA.
Right, that's probably going to be one of them.
We could hear you screaming AA right there.
Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and move on now that we've talked about that, the first topic, and do game balance, feedbacks, and concerns. And so I'm going to go down the list from left to right again, and if you could just mention the thing that you are the most concerned about. Let's not talk about like everything that you think is out of balance, but like the biggest thing that you think needs to be tweaked the most. Something that is just totally ruining the game for you, or anything along those lines. So we're going to go ahead and we'll start off with Captain Sanio and see what his thoughts are. Go ahead.
My main concern is that really the only really good upgrades as far as things you can get in game, like the shops in the game right now, and the only really good things cost 12.5 Araxin, which is the highest cost out of anything in the game. There's a few things in the lower brackets that are decent, but almost all the things you actually want cost the most, and there's a lot of things there that right now are just junk. And there's no way to tell which is which. I had a friend who spent 12K on a mortar for the Galaxy. And for those of you who have done this, no, it's a waste of money.
I was looking at that and I resisted it. The AA guns, however, are awesome that you can put on the Galaxy. So I would recommend those.
Yeah, I put one of those on the tail of my lib. It's been working out pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. Those things are awesome.
After probably receiving the fire from you.
Any other comments
on that
specific thing? No. All right, we're gonna move over to Manitou and see what his thoughts are. What's your kind of main balance concern so far?
Honestly, I really don't have one, because at this point in time, knowing it's beta, and I'm not using it as an excuse, but I just don't. I mean, I'm not going to concern myself with balance issues at this time. If I was going to speak of something right now, I'd be saying, well, this enemy's weapon is more powerful and gets headshots quicker, or hey, my tank's skin is thin, or hey, the AA doesn't work. But at this point in time, I know they're all monitoring this stuff, so it's going. We get feedback on the forums and let them know. So at this point, I'm reserving all my my concerns about balance and holding back on that until we get a little closer. I mean, we're early beta, so I'm not exactly worried about it at this point in time. Now, my outfit mates hear me complain, and I grumble a little bit in TeamSpeak. We'll talk about it, but I'm really not concerned at this point, to be quite honest with you. I don't see... Yeah, don't laugh at me, some trophy. Goss, the Goss rifle. No.
Screw yourself.
So anyway, basically, I'm not too worried about it at this point in time. I'm just gonna wait and see what happens, and I know they'll always be tweaking it along. So I really don't have a main concern. I'm always worried about the ability, and I'd mentioned this to me and Hammer were talking about this, and Jen were talking about this a couple nights ago, about the ability to buy side grades that could potentially unbalance it. So if there was one underlying concern, it's the ability for somebody to lay down credit card money to buy stuff. and I don't know how that's going to affect the gameplay. I know they'll put a handle on it, but that's probably the only underlying thing I've got that concerns me about the game. That would be the station cache. But that's, again, that can be modified by how they control it, and it's not pay to win. But I have a little bit of concern with that. So that would probably be the only one I have. Gameplay and everything else is to be expected right now. It's fairly well balanced. I kind of like where it's at. The cost.
So what you're saying?
Our rifles here, they're good.
Well, what you're saying, Manny, is they need to find that sweet spot between station cache and in-game or Axiom to make it so the average player doesn't have to, where it's unattainable in-game.
Right, I agree. That's right, Jim.
Where you're not forced to buy it just to keep up.
Right. Yeah, if somebody, and that may apply, and again, we know that the casual gamer is not going to have the same advantage as somebody who's hardcore, who's playing, non-stop. But still, and that's why I'm not overly concerned, because they're working towards that end. They don't want somebody to slap down $500 and own the game from the very first week. So I know that's not going to happen. But they're going to have to strike that, what Jen, I quote Jen, the sweet spot, and hit that area. So yeah. I think they'll probably do a good job with it. My main concern, I would say, I know I'm technically speaking out of turn, but this is my show, damn it. My main concern is kind of what you were touching on a little bit there. I'm worried that if they don't find that good balance between Araxium and Station Cache, it could almost become pay to win, because if the threshold is too high to earn Araxium in the game, and you're almost forced to use Station Cache to buy stuff, that's kind of a big concern of mine. And I know that that's something that is very much in flux, and it's something I'm sure that's probably going to change a ton between now and when the game actually releases and goes into some form of open beta. That's kind of my main thing. I am very worried that if they don't find that, that good balance, that, they could very well force people to have to buy stuff, and I think that would be a bad move. It's not like they can sneak something by something like that by people. Yeah. People can see through that. Right. Obviously Sony wants to make money. I mean, that's their job. They made this game. It's free. They gotta make back what they want, and they want it to be successful. So, and we want that for them. We just don't want to have to buy everything if we don't want to. Right.
I like the idea that they haven't added in Station Cache to buy Rousey.
Oh yeah.
Yet.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, because then that prevents people from pay to win. Right.
All right. So now that you're speaking, what are your main concerns?
Well, my main concern right now is also, it's along with the Araxium issue right now. Not being able to, save up enough to grab one thing from the station right now. The other is also finding out where the main fights are occurring in the game. I still was stuck for about 2 hours looking around the map, finding out where the main fight was, for the NC. And eventually, when I found it, it was so massive, my Reaver got blown up due to the amount of traffic going around in the air. Thanks a lot, whoever ran their Galaxy into my Reaver last night. And the other is the system going around on gathering resources. For example, it takes a long time, and I see people idling in the warp gates now, waiting to get enough Araxium so they can buy the one weapon for their vehicles they're waiting for. There has to be a system that has to be fixed on that. I mean, didn't they Higby originally say that you could earn resources out of in-game and out when you're logged off?
You do, and you do earn resources. It's just at a much lower rate.
Right, but it's so slow. You barely notice it, and it's actually a lower rate, much lower amount. I believe it's 5 Araxium every hour that you're logged off, give or take. I mean, it's so low right now, and it's causing a lot of issues for players that are just waiting, idling in there. Why can't we have more? I'm just preaching to the choir right now. It's just the amount of idlers I see now staying inside the warp gates. In both empires, all 3 empires, and I've seen a lot of idlers just sitting in their spawn room.
Well, the devs have mentioned on the forums that that's something that they are aware of, and that they're just not spending the time to try and figure out how to stop that yet. But they're going to figure out ways to stop that from happening, just idling in the game. That's not something they're going to allow to continue. There's no question about that. It's going to be something that there's going to be timers. I'm sure there's going to be a variety of different checks and balances in place to make sure people don't idle in game for like 3 days. Obviously, the people out there who always find a way around things will continue to find a way around things. There's no way around that, so to speak. But it is something that they are aware of, and that I'm sure that they'll fix.
That's true. I mean, we're in early beta, as all of us have, we're very clearly aware. In the later beta, I like to see more improvements on this system. We cannot have any of the vets feeling discouraged on this. I mean, some of my outfit members are a little mad at the resource system.
Yeah. All right. Move over to Centrosi. What are your thoughts?
Well, I kind of touched on it earlier before about the infiltrators. It's causing a little bit of concern. I mean, I know they've got some magical formula in the background they're working on and stuff to make the infiltrators a really nice class. I mean, Smed pointed it out, Higby pointed it out on Twitter, I think a couple of weeks ago. But I'm concerned that it's going to be a almost a throwaway kind of class. It's right now it's very situational. Basically, an infiltrator is a sniper. That's it. You can't really hack or do anything. You can disappear, but that's only for I think 10-15 seconds at the most. I really want them to reveal something about the infiltrator class, because that is, in my mind, one of the things that made PlanetSide so unique. You're a cloaker. You go behind enemy lines. You can hack doors. Then you go and get into the base. You can hack out a max, and you can start owning people inside of that base. You can be one person, and you can cause so much disruption inside an enemy base that people have to divert resources to you. That's really it.
Cool. Awesome.
Well, they've been talking about the infil somewhat, and Higby has stated that his goal for it is to be a gadgeteer sort of class.
Yeah.
With lots of gadgets. So he's talked about sticky cameras, landmines. You can also change the type of cloak you have to a more permanent style like we were familiar with in the original PS. Of course, that gives up your sniper rifle. And there's been a lot. He's talked some about it. It's been here and there. But a lot of what makes the Infiltrator really good is in the game, just because the majority of classes don't have their own individual stuff in the game. For the medic doesn't have its toxin injector, that you can see its which is in its certs and all this other stuff. So there's a lot not in.
Right. I guess basically with the Infiltrator class, it almost becomes like a whole thing of the lack of hacking in the game. You could be a grunt in the game in the original PlanetSide. You could break out your wreck and you could hack a door. Yeah, it'll take you 30 seconds, but you could still get that door open. An infiltrator gets in there, and he can hack in 10 seconds, get in, zip out, lay viruses in there, do that sort of thing. That's not in the game yet. I want to see that.
Actually, the infiltrators, I think, right now can use enemy terminals.
Yes, that is actually correct, Captain. They can do that. They can hack also enemy vehicle terminals as well.
We got to realize, too, that it's not the same. We don't have doors, so what are we gonna hack? We're gonna hack vehicle terminals and equipment terminals. Right now, that's all the hacker's gonna be able to hack, unless they're gonna be able to hack a turret on an enemy base.
That's something that Higby mentioned that they will be adding later on in the game to allow infiltrators to hack the turrets to use against the enemies. But then again, it's this is early beta. We're still waiting on stuff. They may add in the doors eventually that we've been waiting for, so we have some kind of protection and indication of when the enemy's coming in. Then again, there was also speculation that the infiltrator class might also get a carbine rifle instead of a sniper rifle, and that you can swap it out.
Right.
Right, it's supposed to be like the Special Forces class.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
It's right now in the current state of what I see in game, I personally wouldn't want to run around and be a hacker because there's only a couple things I can hack. So why would I put that in my loadout when I can carry something else like C4 or, I mean, like it just seems kind of pointless right now.
Well, for me, I use the Infiltrator class primarily as a scouting unit, and for my outfit, I am the forward eyes observer for a base that they're going to be attacking. So I just hide in one area that has a very good look over the entire base and just report everything I see that's going on, especially how many vehicles they're pulling out. It becomes primarily difficult around 2 other types of bases. The biolab is the hardest one for me to do that. And for an infiltrator, you have to swap out a lot of stuff. You can't be usable in that. Well, if you're not the NC, I mean you have the bolt action rifle pretty much. You guys, the TR and the VS, you guys have the semi-autos, you bastards.
Well, you're hard hitting.
Yes, we have the hardest.
It should only be 1 shot, 1 kill.
It
Skills.
is. We have the most damage weapons. That's why I hear some of you guys are complaining over there. If you're complaining about that, then join the NC and you'll understand why. We have the hardest hitting weapons, but we have the slowest fire rate and the highest recoil.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to Basti. He hasn't had a chance to comment on the balance concerns. Fire away, Basti. We know you get something good. No.
VS weapons. They are underpowered. They are just plain simply all underpowered.
Mm-hmm. I will agree with that.
I would agree. I've spent time on all factions while we've been streaming, and by far, I get the same feeling.
And then, probably not really balance concern, but India as a continent in general. Actually, it is balance concern. It's because India is completely unbalanced. The north side would NC now have what the glorious Rhino Empire hold as their own. It's like actually the strong area. If you have that, you win. You get most resources.
Yeah.
What the TR have.
True.
What the TR have now is like go die in a corner, please. Because all you have to do is cut 4 hexes and they just don't get any more resources. And it's even really easy to attack. And what VS have now is also Rashnu is hard to attack, but Zervan and Tarwich constant attack. We are constantly defending those two. And of course the friggin' crown.
The crown.
The crown. Please don't mention the crown.
What needs to be done is to be rebuilt on that entire section. It needs to be, we need a better location for a 3-way fight.
We don't need 3-way fights. Those need to go.
No, we don't.
PlanetSide.
Yeah, but
fights
it
are
gets
something
old.
that need to happen every now and then. That need to be something special, not happening all the fucking time.
Agreed.
It
Goddamn
should be.
crown.
Three-way fights lead to stagnation.
I think Basti's losing it, guys.
Here comes. Here comes.
All right.
Blood pressure.
Mount Basti. Here we go.
Mount Basti?
I had
No.
But I do agree with Basti.
Like, do it. Give me Mount Basti.
All right, let's continue moving along here. I don't want to stay on one topic for too long, so.
AA. I didn't get to say mine.
Oh yeah, you didn't get to say yours. Go ahead. No, what are your balance concerns? Go ahead.
Well, AA is the biggest one. There has to be a healthy fear in the air.
A weakness of AA.
I mean, even, you shouldn't need 3 maxes to take a Reaver down. I don't know if it's like that on every faction, but
I'm sure it is.
There should be a healthy fear. And there is no fear. I should hope most of you would agree if you've spent a lot of time in game right now.
Absolutely no fear. I mean, Jen, we've seen it before. Basically,
Liberators
you have a Reaver,
hovering.
A Liberator, even Reavers, like 2 or 3 Reavers, just sitting there hovering over a base, just going up and down, up and down, up and down. 15 flak, 15 cannons of flak coming at them. They're just going up and down, up and down.
Actually, I wanted to stress over that also. We've seen recently a lot more brave pilots just going straight into bases, especially Zerban. For example, last night we've seen 3 Galaxies just charging directly in with all the AA turret commands being pointed right at them. It took us 10 minutes to kill them once they landed. It was just ridiculous. I never expected these guys to be this brave before. And I do agree that AA is underpowered, but this is early beta. We're expecting more changes. Eventually, they will understand that AA needs to be a little more powerful.
And when the AA gets more powerful, no one will have a spawn point because the Galaxy is the only spawn point.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, when the hold on. When the Galaxy is landed, it's a ground vehicle essentially, and it needs to be attacked with ground vehicle weaponry. Is that what you're talking about when it's landed and deployed? Because that's different animal than attacking it in the air.
Well, in the air, it's not. It's pretty difficult to kill.
Yeah.
Especially with AA. I've done. We've had 6, 7 Maxus try to kill it.
Right.
In the air, that thing is a beast.
Right, but that's right. But that's going to be addressed when they fix AA overall. I think. I don't think that's necessarily. I mean, it should be more. You shouldn't be able to take it out easily because it's a Galaxy and it's an important aircraft. But when it's deployed on the ground, is a different animal because then you need to attack it. You need to change your tactics because when it's deployed, it's it's got a shield and it's being attacked
and it's
by.
Also got engineers on it,
right?
Working on it constantly. I mean, I've seen 12, maybe 13
Yeah.
engineers working on it constantly to keep it alive.
Now that engineers stack appropriately, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's pretty bad.
Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. I was going to talk about territory adjacency, but I think we can wait on that until the next show because it's not really technically in the game yet. So
it's
let's go ahead.
They'll probably change up entirely.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on. So the next one is so I would assume everybody in here is in an outfit. So the next topic covers what are the differences between PlanetSide 1 and PlanetSide 2 in terms of how you've had to adjust. What have you had to change in order to compete in PlanetSide 2 effectively as an outfit? I'm going to start from the right side this time and start with Basti. Oh no, and we'll see what he has to say on this topic first. We're going to switch it up.
We're not, well, we figured out that a single outfit can't do as much as in PlanetSide 1. In PlanetSide 1, what Vanucorp did was we went behind enemy lines, took the test plan generator out, and just hold it for frigging hours. Really hours, sometimes. Or just went to the different continent and just pulled the enemy away, neutralized the base, whatever. All that stuff isn't in right now. Can't do anything of that. And so what we can just do is hack a base, basically. Or just deny them the spawns by dropping on the spawn control unit. But we figured that doing that alone is kinda hard. Because even if you do, you need backup, you need other people, if you try to attack the base, you need other people hacking the surrounding axis, you need other people holding points down, whatever. So what we're trying right now is getting other outfits together, having communication between those outfits, and just trying to do stuff together. Combine the numbers, and just blow shit up.
Cool. Interesting. Alright. Centrosi, sorry. Nobody knows who Cent is.
Well, I am Cent.
Okay.
I'm Cent from,
okay.
well, whatever.
Indeed.
Anyway, I guess the main thing is, in PlanetSide 1, the Dragon Wolves were kind of like a, I guess you would say we were more, I use the term rapid reaction unit. We would basically, for ops nights, we would schedule something like a Prowler run, like a Thunder run, or an all-air op or something like that. And we would do that, and we would be very effective. But I think in the original PlanetSide 1, our main strengths was the fact that we weren't that huge outfit, but we weren't that small outfit either. We could still be effective in PlanetSide 1. That has transferred over to PlanetSide 2 very well in the fact that we're used to, getting into the galaxy really quick and taking off really quick, and we're used to splitting up our squads into like 2 or 3 smaller squad members to take points. it was evident during the organized ops that was streamed on AGN a couple of days ago, how effective a smaller squad, basically a platoon, could be. We had, I think, 4 or 5 mosquitoes flying air cover and a full galaxy, and we were able to take a base. It's a different tactic now. You take the hexes around that base first, then you attack the base itself. Now, yes, the base was it wasn't very heavily defended, but still, there's that dynamic there that was brought over from the original PlanetSide, and the fact that we are, I think right now, basically a rapid reaction unit. We'll go out, we'll put out the fire, or we'll start our own fire for our empire.
Cool. Alrighty, Deathshot, what are your thoughts?
Well, primarily right now, the Blue Lions were mostly a multi-role outfit. We usually had multiple companies established for each specialized combat. There was an armor company, an aircraft company, which I am XO for. We had an infantry company, a support company, and we had a special forces unit. But we had to originally had to disband that unit. In PlanetSide 2, right now we had to change so many tactics, especially with the ability to load up a galaxy efficiently and quickly. Now that we have to fear the possibility of being bum rushed by either the TR or the VS coming straight behind us over the hillside or whatever. And originally one of our commanding officers quit the beta because he was so uncomfortable at how many tactics were completely ruined in PlanetSide 2. What other things? And I can't go any further into details because then I'd be yelled at by my outfit leader for breaking the rules. And if I so as far as anyone's concerned, the Blue Lions are adapting quite quickly. We have new classes being established for training and all that kind of stuff. As far as I'm concerned, the outfit's feeling great.
All right, cool. All right, Manitou, you are next up. Go ahead.
Well, since Rusty talked about it a little bit, but I think one of the main tactics that's changed is the. I think what's happening is the way that the lines right now, with the way they have the influence of attaching to your warp gate, that's changed some things up obviously a little bit, because right now, it's broke right now, but what's going to end up happening is you're not going to be able to go into the back area and hack an area and take it, which I think is a valid tactic. I would disagree with disabling that, because it's a valid tactic, because what it does is it tends to allow you to, a small unit like ours, to go into a place, start a diversion where it diverts troops from the front line, so then allows your faction to move or push harder in that area because there's less troops. I mean, it's a very valid military tactic. We did it the other day, and I've seen it result in some has some pretty effective results. So I'm not sure what they're going to do with that and how that's going to affect it. So that tactic, changing that that's got me a little bit concerned. I mean, again, we'll adjust and overcome like we always do, but we'll come up with a different tactic. But also another one too, I think is an interesting one, and I'm excited about this, is the fact of the polymers and the Araxium and all that stuff. If you can cut off somebody from their warp gate, you actually have the ability to affect their resource income. So again, we talk about beans and bullets. You want to get beans and bullets because you don't conduct a war unless you have that stuff to push out to the front. So if they can cut that stuff off, that's a good tactic. It's a valid tactic, and it requires working with larger units. Basti's got, he's talking about bringing other guys in. And see, that's where that's critical. So if you coordinate these with that is a valid tactic now. Where before there wasn't the ability to do that. There were no resources in the game, so you would drop in, it doesn't really mean anything. You cap it, hold it for a while, have a great battle, and that's the end of it. Here, if you go in and somebody sees you starting to come around and cut them off from the warp gate, they are going to have to react to that. And what that does is that means they're going to have to allocate resources to that incursion into their area. And that means pulling troops from the front. When you pull troops from the front, and if that's coordinated well with your faction, they can push at the same time those guys are pulling out, and you have a valid tactic. So that one was exciting to me to see that control of it. So there's some concerns, but I really see that one can be used quite heavily. So I'm liking it. I think it's exciting. It's a great addition to the whole PlanetSide theme.
All right, cool. Captain Insanio, you're next up. What are your thoughts?
Our outfit's pretty much not changed much at all, and we're really sitting on our hands as far as coming up with tactics and setting things down in stone. Because really the game is in beta, and we don't know what the endpoint is looking at, so anything we put down now, we'll just have to revise later. So right now we're playing together, sticking together, and having a freaking great time.
Words to live by right there. Awesome.
That's right.
I was taking down all those notes, you know.
Yeah. Your strategies are
Very
destroyed.
detailed, and it's very you have to think things out. It takes some real effort.
Nice.
Oh, I'm thinking it's just like, here, kill NC, kill TR, win.
Right, exactly.
That's all it is for you.
All right,
Can I
let's
have
see
a copy of your
here.
notes?
Nice.
Expect them to be torched.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the last topic, and then we will do kind of a little bit of a. Well, we have one other topic that's AGN related, and then we'll do a little bit of a roundtable and bring up anything that you guys want to talk about.
Oh, this hobby.
So we'll start off with our final PlanetSide 2 related topic before we move on to the AGN topic, and ask, how is this not PlanetSide 1? How does it differ for you in terms of the differences between 1 and 2? Obviously, we all know that it's not PlanetSide 1 because it's called PlanetSide 2, but what are some of the things that have changed in the game that,
Captain Obvious is obvious.
Right, exactly. That's me right here, Captain Obvious. What are some of the things for you that have changed? Better, worse? It doesn't really matter. Not looking for any specific, thing. But what are your thoughts? You want to start off? Okay, we'll start off with you, and then we will move down to Captain Insanio after you. Go ahead.
My first, what differs from PlanetSide 1 to PlanetSide 2 now is that the logistics system is completely different. It's essentially going around towards the galaxies being now the AMSs, which really does change a lot of things. I mean, it is just a giant, what I call the ice cream truck, essentially, and it's impossible to squeeze that thing in any hidden areas. Another thing is that there are no ants, the NTU silos that we're so used to from the first PlanetSide, managing the power source from that you can completely drain an entire basin, and you would be able to capture that much easier, in an easier way. I believe Higby did say that he'll be bringing that back in eventually, but that I don't know when. That kind of threw off a lot of bets, including me, when I first started playing this in the tech test. To be honest, I'm a little concerned about that. Eventually, we have to have that, but also the Sunderer. I should go over that. That being now the new Lodestar repair units is kind of iffy, but it's actually pretty handy if you want to keep up with tank columns and all that kind of stuff. But then again, it's I want to see back is the original AMS vehicle. So if an enemy has full dominance of the air, why can't we have a ground respawn vehicle?
Well, they're working on that.
Yeah, I know. But we shouldn't have the Galaxy be the true AMS right now. That's kind of being.
Yeah, I mean, well, Higby has already mentioned that they do want to try and play with a spawning version of the Sunderer, and I think we're probably going to see that in beta to see how that works and see how that functions.
That can actually work if you think about it.
So you'll trade off probably your repair capability or something like that, and then be able to spawn.
If they can make the Galaxy be the vehicle repair and rearm point, I can understand that, because that would be essentially like flying the Lodestar again, and it wouldn't require you to be very careful where you place it and hide it in certain areas. I mean, how many of you guys have originally messed around with the Lodestar on the first PlanetSide? Okay, that's one. Yeah,
we actually use it very effectively. We use it to carry an AMS along with a Galaxy during one of our operations.
Right. Now, that's actually what a lot of outfits that I've seen used. What I meant is using it as the established repair point for all vehicles.
Oh, we've done that too. We've
yeah.
Thunder runs. We did that exclusively.
For sure.
Right.
We always brought a Lodestar with us.
Mother
Right.
pig.
This is why right now the logistics system is just up in the air right now. We're just wondering how it's going to be effective later on in the full release. But right now, some of the guys are completely confused my outfit, especially our support company. They did not like how this was set up.
Well, I mean, it's still beta. They're tweaking a lot of things.
I know.
And like Smed said on Friday when the NDA when the NDA lifted, basically we're a long way off.
Right.
Yes, we are.
All right.
I think the Galaxy is a viable spawn point right now.
I do too.
I do. I don't
I
think
agree
they
with you.
want you to hide it. I think they want what their vision for it is for you to have exclusively have that as a spawn point and have to have people go around and support that galaxy almost like a fort. Set up a have a
The sad part is
division.
that I found obstructions in that defense all the way around. It's way too easy to camp on the infantry spawning in on that.
Well,
And
I mean,
it's way too exposed for if it's that way out in the open. You might as well put a giant neon saying, "Here I am."
well, one thing that's for sure is that it's gotten better
It's
since,
a beast.
since the beta started.
Yeah,
It's more viable now than it was a month ago when tech test started, or however long ago that was.
Right.
It's a work in progress. I don't think it's ever going to have any form of cloak. I was actually watching the Higby stream this afternoon with I think it was DJ Wheat, and he talked about the Galaxy and how they don't want the spawn points to be hidden anymore. So I don't think we're going to see a cloak unless it's something that the community really, or the player base really wants to see. Just simply because it is something they want it visible, they want it to be known, they want you to have to defend it more so than you had to defend the. Not that you didn't have to defend the AMS, but right, you could
leave
deploy
it.
an AMS and just leave it there and never even have to come back to it again.
Right,
But-
there's also there's actually a trade-off. There should be a trade-off if you're gonna be able to put your Galaxy. I mean, take away 3 of your guns off your Galaxy, for example.
Right.
There should be also. It's easy to see cloak. It's actually a little easy to see cloakers when they're running around in full cloak. You can see barely see them for half.
Yeah,
a
you
second.
got to wait for 15 seconds and they'll pop out of their clothes.
Right.
They will, but it's actually easy to see where they're going because they're not really cloaked in the.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
they don't want it in the current state with the sniper being having that powerful rifle being able to see them. You should be able to see them when they're moving because they got that powerful
Right.
weapon. Now,
Right.
I know they're gonna have it cert so you can carry a knife or a pistol, and the cloak will be a truer cloak. That would make
Right.
sense. You don't want some guy running around with this powerful gun.
Right.
Then again, we we're in beta right now, and they would like to also be able to trade out the sniper rifle for the carbine rifle.
They had talked about that.
Derailing.
All right, let's go ahead. Yeah, let's stay on topic,
Yeah, so-
one topic at a time. Let's not move around a little too much. We're getting way off here. So
I like the Galaxy.
yeah. So let's go ahead and move on to Captain Insanio.
What were we talking about? Oh, that's right. Differences between PlanetSide 1 and
Yes.
PlanetSide
Yes.
2.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Fire away, man.
The support, the lack of support isn't definitely been talked about. I didn't get a chance to talk about the spawn point, because a cloak spawn point that you can bind yourself to actually opens up a lot of potential, because I remember as a cloaker, I used to stick the thing miles away from my target and just use it as a point I could come in from. And by the time I got to the base, that's why my implants would have charged up. The implants are totally different. The shop is different. The fact you can have side grades. The majority of those aren't in the game yet, and it'll be interesting to see how those actually play out once we get access to the guns themselves. The resource counter, the resource and the surge system. I'm sort of torn on their systems and how they put it in right now, because I've had times when my Liberator will not die, and I have been stuck at maximum of 750 resources for them for the longest time. And I've had runs where I've managed to screw up horribly twice in a row, and I've lost both my lids, and I can't pull another one for a good long time. That's a major difference from PS1. There doesn't really seem to be a solid front line that I can identify easily. There's a constant skirmish going along both the borders with the other two sides, but besides the crown, which is just sort of an area of denial that's just incredibly difficult to push into, there's no real point I can identify, like, oh, there's a fight going on here, or I can expect a large amount of fight through this area. Like, I can see there'll be you'll run into groups, like you run as a lib crew. I'll run occasionally into, like, small tank columns or groups of enemy aircraft. But I really haven't seen, like, this is the front, this is where we're going, this is pushing, this is how I can best support my own side. Like, where do I, like, my mentality is, oh, there's 5 here. How can I support my side in order to get in there? Now I'm basically tootling around with the Liberator up in there looking for targets opportunity. Like the Galaxies. The Galaxies really are pretty much giant meat wagons if you're in a lib. You say, Galaxy! I'm going to go sit over here at an incredible long distance and let my gunner shell you from a distance I can't be attacked at. And
I think the mission system will
artillery,
help with that, though, the direction.
Right now, the mission system is.
Yeah, I
busted.
mean, that's something that we don't even have in the game yet. That's gonna totally affect the game in an interesting way.
I was bringing up also, Captain, is that where is the fight? I mean, where is the main front line right now?
Well, I mean, the territory adjacency system is going to do some things with that, so we'll see what happens with that, and they're constantly changing that. So.
Yeah, I would like to have an indication of where the main fights are,
For sure.
or where the main army is pushing in.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see a lot of fluctuation on that. I agree with him that there's really no front line right now, and we'll start seeing that with the adjacency changes. All right, let's move on to.
Because we're playing like it.
Let's
Also,
move.
think
Oh, you have
about-
something else?
Yeah, one real quick
Go
thing I
back to
got
it.
cut off there.
Go ahead.
Those of you using the forums who've been talking about artillery, the lib basically can act like an inaccurate form of artillery. If you sit up high enough and you just flip yourself vertical, you don't lose any. You basically don't fall in the lib. The only way you can lose it altitude quickly is if you straight nosedive, or if you fall into your back and you fall down. Otherwise, the lib will just stay vertical, and you can just shoot down incredible ranges. And if you get about several of those guys up just shelling a single point, you can pretty much lay destruction from outside of view distance.
My best description of the Liberator right now to some of our community members here who have played Call of Duty is the AC-130, pretty much.
Was somebody saying that the beta servers are actually being restarted right now to patch in adjacency? Is that actually true? Can anybody actually confirm
Well, I've got a shutting down.
that? Oh, you have a shutdown?
I'm getting a. Yeah, that's what I was trying to flag you down for.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
They're doing well, it says server shutting down to reason lock out external players from server. I don't know what that means.
Well, that just means they're turning it off. So they must be, so they must be doing, they must
patch?
be throwing it in.
Yeah.
Well, Smed said earlier today that later tonight that they were going to be doing that. I didn't realize
17 seconds, people.
I didn't realize that they meant like during the playtime, so that's interesting. I thought they would do it overnight for tomorrow or something. Are the servers up tomorrow? I don't even remember that. Are they up tomorrow? Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's move on to Manitou now and get his thoughts on the differences between PlanetSide 1 and PlanetSide 2 as my screens go all out of whack. And Manny, go ahead.
The main thing, obviously, is resources. PlanetSide 1 didn't have resources, so that throws into PlanetSide 2 the whole concept of fighting for a reason and holding territory for a reason. Honestly, one of the things I'd like to see him do right now, you don't have a whole lot of places that garner the. I guess what I'm trying to say is the importance between Araxium and the other resources. They're working on that, so it's not a concern at this point because they have to work on that. Every time I turn around, all my they're maxed at 750, so I can always those are constantly maxing out. The Araxium, everybody seems to be focusing on that. Nobody cares about the other stuff at this point. Now they'll find a sweet spot for that as well, but that's the main difference from back to the original question. This is not PlanetSide 1. There is actually a reason outside of just pure I want my faction to win. Fighting, you're fighting for resources, and it is hyper critical that you have those resources because, as we've seen on our server, the server we've chosen upon which we've chosen to play, it's gotten a little out of balance because what happened is a lot of people shifted off and it left a large NC population, And what happened, and they took advantage of it, which I mean, I would have done it too. And they've garnered a lot of resources, so they're able to upgrade very quickly. So that's kind of put it at slight imbalance as far as what their equipment is and what our equipment has. So there's this. Now we've been able to fight through it using different tactics, but that's the main difference from PlanetSide 1 and PlanetSide 2. And therein is a rub too, because you're going to have to make sure they balance that. If it gets out of whack, it could potentially, I don't want to say it could kill a server, but it could cause people not to want to play on that server. If one faction gets way out of whack, you're not going to want to play on that server because, like the VS, for instance. I was playing the VS, and I would have hated the VS today because they were like around 19 or 20% pop. And even with Basti and his guys, and they're accomplished, they're going to get tired of getting beat into the dirt. Now,
you're not getting beat into the dirt.
On our server, they are.
Yeah, they were.
Oh yeah,
Totally.
They were cut off from the warp gate all the whole time. I don't know how those guys are surviving because the population. Let's say I think at one point it was 19% VS. It was 28% TR, and then the rest, whatever else percentage of that was NC. So they're making ridiculous bank. The NC are. We're making pretty good bank, but the VS are getting strangled. So they're going to have to meet that. That's the main difference from PlanetSide. It is critical.
And once they get rich, they get richer. It's like you can't stop them.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that I've never seen the
mic a little
NC
bit.
have this pop or have been determined to win in a long time. I mean, in the original PlanetSide, guys, if you remember, the NC were a bunch of you all call us idiots, and yet now we're putting up a huge fight against all of you.
You're still idiots.
We're winning. We're winning.
All right, let's go ahead and move on
Not
to
my server, you're not.
Centrosi.
Shut up. Oh, yeah, eventually.
Go ahead, Cent.
Oh, it's my turn?
Oh, it is.
Oh, I was enjoying this discussion. I really was.
It is your turn.
I guess something that hasn't been touched on yet is this isn't PlanetSide 1 because the Pounder is absolute CRAP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's like you're lobbing a small coconut 5 feet out in front of you, and that's the essence of the Pounder. That's what it is.
No,
If there's any max players from PlanetSide 1 that remembers the Pounder before it became the anti-armor max, when it was the anti-infantry, we were bouncing grenades right down the hall of those towers.
I hate you.
Yeah.
I do remember those
that
days.
was awesome. Those are the
remember
good
the
days.
push up there.
Those are also the days of TR grief points, and you could easily get griefed out in one tower battle, easily.
Yeah.
But I'm digressing here. Basically, the TR Pounder Max is not the TR Pounder Max from PlanetSide 1.
Right,
Indeed.
because
Well, a lot of the AV is pretty bad right now.
Yeah.
Like, I found the Comet Max. Actually, the Comet is really freaking awesome against vehicles and
Oh, yes,
only
it is.
against vehicles.
But the
Against
other
other maxes, it's not that good.
Captain,
I have been successful during a couple weeks ago. We were doing a tower hold, and a lightning came driving right through one of the towers. I jumped into a Pounder Max, jumped on top of him, and blew him up. That's the only vehicle kill I have with a Pounder.
Nice.
Oh, that's for
That
me,
is-
I
it's
was
pretty
running
bad.
the Falcon setup for my max suit about a couple of days ago. That thing is only effective on vehicles as well. I guess they really wanted to focus more on anti-vehicle setup for max suits instead of doing it against other max suits.
Yeah, I mean,
or,
there's.
towers. Or actually, no, the turrets. My bad.
Let's go ahead and
Turns.
let's try and stay on topic a little bit more here. Let's not go too far down the rabbit hole. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Basti.
But the whole field is rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Basically, two things. First of all, maxes are, as they are right now, absolutely pointless.
Mm-hmm.
They are just useless. They serve as AA once AA is actually buffed and useful again, but AV? Why should I do that if I have heavy assault? I'm doing more kills with heavy assault than I could with max.
Mm-hmm.
And what really concerns me is in the design meet that was live streamed by Higby, one of the designers actually said they don't want max crashes to return. I face palmed across Germany at that moment.
Across Germany. That's an interesting.
It's like it's like removing the planet from PlanetSide. It's half the game. You need the max crashes. That's PlanetSide. You need that.
Yeah, I heard that
How can
mentioned
you-
as well. I don't remember who mentioned it, but I remember that.
Probably any vet cringe there, I think.
Yeah. The max crash from PlanetSide 1 was such an effective tactic. You don't see that in PlanetSide 2.
Well,
No.
we don't know, guys. Remember, this is early beta. We don't know what they're planning on next. For all we know, they might actually throw that idea out the window, and then we may be able to have max crashes again. Hey, we might actually have doors again.
Ooh,
Well,
Basti
we
is
actually have
frozen.
max crashes now. There's nothing stopping it. And I really did not understand the idea behind it. I was like, we don't want to put a timer on it because then we'll have max crashes.
That's
A bit of a disconnect there.
That's where I really face palmed. It was Europe at that point. I just what? That doesn't make sense, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But really, I mean, maxes need to be powerful units. They need to be like the guys that take the fire and that deal the damage. But they need support to actually sustain the position. Otherwise, they just get mowed down. And right now, they just I fire a bit. Oh, maybe I get a bit of support. I die. Whatever. Next max. It shouldn't be that way. They shouldn't be They should be on the timer. They should probably even have a resource cost, but they should be friggin' powerful. If you
Yeah.
see a max,
They should
you
be something-
Feel the max.
Yeah, and they
not
should be
like-
something you want to support as a support class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't want
Right
to
now-
support them.
Right now, I can mow down maxes easily with my heavy assault. Rocket to the face, trusty Orion, light machine gun, mow him down, max done. It's easy.
Do that with the
And it
recon.
shouldn't be like that. They should. When I see a max, I should run around a corner and just hope he doesn't see me. Hope he isn't coming for me. Because that's what maxes are. That's what max should be.
Right.
And the next thing, what I'm really missing right now, is CR5 chat.
I think you're the only. I think you're the only one missing that. Yeah, I think you're the only one missing it.
This is what drove the NC
Not-
to lose all respect whatsoever.
Is it
because,
just the chat in general, or
Not because of the trolls and whatever, and Dark Fate. Of course not because of Dark Fate.
Oh.
Or Bastek. Or goddamn Bastek.
Yeah,
No,
that's
but
right.
because-
We have to do
because-
Bastic.
Command Chat had one wonderful feature. It told you where stuff is going on and what people need. So you could actually do stuff based on the feedback. And you could also tell everyone, yeah, we need help here. Right now it's just Tarwich is under attack. You have just a handful of VS there, but it's a frigging load of TR attacking it. You need help, but you can't call for help. There's just no way to call for help.
Informational barrier, basically.
I agree.
Pretty much.
I mean, right now, if you guys remember, there was a lot of discussion about that the developer team for PlanetSide 2 will be looking out for players that have good commanding skills and might award them with the ability to lead the military all across the game. I mean, each empire will have a unique commander, and judging how they do it, they can probably give out the missions. But I just really don't like how the idea that these guys might actually be trolls and just throw all the entire empire in the wrong direction.
well, yeah. I mean, it's the mission system. Well, yeah, there's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see how all that stuff works. We don't even know what that animal looks like yet, other than what they've talked about. So.
Yeah, it could be abused significantly by
I mean,
trolls.
for sure.
Those guys from the NC who are actually from PlanetSide 1 that plan on doing this, intentionally to screw up all efforts.
It's like anything else, right? When you were an idiot on CR5, you got muted from CR5. So if you're an idiot setting missions, then you're going to get removed from setting missions. I mean,
right?
that's one of the bonuses, right, to being an MMO is that you're going to have a 24/7 admin on the server. There's going to be a CS team forever watching everything that's going on. So
yes, and now that's right. You remember, folks, if you're going to troll on the game now, you're going to get severe punishment.
Right. Exactly. So
That's a waste of time, though. The people who are doing that could be looking for people who are hacking, cheating, abusing, running people over, being general snobs, or they can troll through a chat and try to pick out one or two guys who are being repeatedly annoying.
Well, I mean, it's
no, Captain Sana was. I was saying that the mission system would be abused by the trolls, and it could. This could be the main issue we're looking at.
Well, it's like anything else, right? People are going to report people who do stuff like that. So it's not necessarily proactively some admin looking for somebody. It's more, hey, this guy's doing a bunch of stupid things and gets reported for it. So
yes, that's correct.
Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to our final topic here, and then we'll do a little bit of a roundtable and see where that takes us. Let's go ahead and one of the things that I wanted to talk about, I don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but what are some of the things that you'd like to see us do here on this channel, on this AGN channel? What would you I don't know if any of you guys have watched, but do people like watching Jen and I sit here play the game? I mean, what types of things would you like to see on AGN? Obviously, we have community nights and we have developer interviews. Both of those things will continue from here on until the foreseeable future. But are there any other things? Would you like to see different streamers connecting to AGN and broadcasting their own content on AGN, or what type of things would you like to see from us? I don't know if everybody, I should say, has something to say on this, but if you could just raise your hand if you have something to say, and I'll just go ahead and jump right to you. All right. Looks like Manny raised his hand first, so let's go ahead and go over to Manitou and see what he has to say. Go ahead.
What I'd really like to see is a combination of what you're doing already. Is I'd like to see AGN in bed with different outfits. Give it different outfits a chance. You have a show and you guys should maybe do 2 outfits during an AGN broadcast where you take something from what we've seen in modern media today, where they embed a reporter, and you can have or you can have a representative. An outfit selects a representative to stream something or to embed a reporter, so they can kind of show the outfit off a little bit, and kind of similar to our outfit spotlight we have on PlanetSide Universe, something along those lines. So it'll do 2 things. First of all, it streams the show, streams the game for people, and also too gives outfits a chance to show what they can do. We had a blast doing it. It was enjoyable knowing people were watching what we were doing, and also it gives people an opportunity to see what other outfits do, and they can learn from them. I mean, we all want to learn, how to play the game a little better. So you may learn tactics from different people. So that would be kind of cool to see AGN do that. It would be kind of an objective way of looking at different outfits. So that would be something I'd like to see happen here in the future.
Cool. That might be something that we can do. That would be interesting. It kind of provides a forum for those who may or may not have the ability to stream, and it gives them access to our viewership to kind of show off their outfit and their organization and stuff. And not everybody wants to get some crazy ass streaming setup like I have going on here, so it gives people the opportunity to get on a stream, but not have to not have to make the investment or spend all the time to try and get involved in that. So, and we know that our system works from the cast that we've been doing recently. All right, anybody else have any thoughts on that topic? Hands raised, like in school back in the day. Insanio has something to say on this topic. Go ahead.
You might, I think, of putting together a collection of some of the better community-made videos and putting them up all at once, a single strap, a single night.
This would be good.
That could be interesting.
My idea.
AGN movie night.
Oh yeah.
Basti, I'm not stealing it. Remember, we share a mind. We're Vanna.
That is true.
One collective mind.
Awesome.
All right. Awesome. Oh, Jen is raising her hand. She's sitting right next to me, so it's easy to see that.
I was like waving.
Go ahead.
Instructional how-to videos for noobs.
Yep, that'll be. Yeah, that's definitely something that. Yeah, don't press E, exactly. That's something that we definitely.
That was for the vets.
We definitely want to do that, but we want to wait. That'll be a YouTube channel type of content. We want to do that, but we want to wait till the game is in a more completed status before we do it. So it'll happen.
Basic fundamentals of map, vehicles, just.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed our PSA announcements about
yeah,
PlanetSide
the,
1.
the E thing was pretty funny.
The grenade one was my idea.
Yeah, the grenade one was her idea. I totally somehow I missed that one, but it didn't take me too long to put
That's the
those
first
together.
thing I did is go up to the equipment terminal and hit G.
Yeah, I mean, one of the very first times that I play, I was sitting right next to Higby when I did it, and he's like, "Here's the keyboard and the mouse." So I go and get into a Mosquito, and what do?
Hit
Eject.
E.
I hit E and freaking landed on the ground and died, and I was like,
You know, I actually put the video up on my Outfits website, as a reminder into all engineering pods. You cannot hit E anymore for ascend.
well, on the bright side, I could just press /vehicle and bring up a new one when I was out at SOE. I can't do that anymore, so
You
fail.
can't do that now. You have to be very careful.
Yeah, I have to be very important in order to be able to do that. So, all right. Anybody else have any comments?
Other than changing up your intro eventually for newer
Yeah,
stuff.
that's gonna happen. No question about
I
that.
keep the pole dancer.
Oh yeah, that'll stay. Don't worry about that.
You see
All
where
right.
the NC priorities lie.
That's right.
No pole dancers were harmed during the making of that
No, they
clip,
weren't.
by the way.
All right.
They were
let's-
all specifically selected based on their particular talents.
Mhm.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, that's true. Maybe we can also have the community's favorites here once in a while.
All right. Let's go ahead and let's roundtable it a little bit to finish out the show. Let's not go too far down any rabbit holes, but let's at least go into a couple things that you guys may think is important. I'm assuming everybody probably has something that they think is important. So who wants to... let's actually go ahead and start down the line. Let's start with Basti and see what he has. And we'll discuss based off of whatever Basti brings up. Go ahead.
Back to the Thunder as a spawn point. We need it. We absolutely need it. Right now the problem is you can put a galaxy wherever you want. You put it on a pad, you put it on a roof of some capture point. Just let 10-20 guys spawn quickly, head off and let them just capture it. Where you just repair your galaxy if necessary.
Mhm.
Most times it isn't even necessary because you can just nuke whatever is shooting at your galaxy and repair it. And before they can actually react, you have the point. Done. What we need is galaxies to be like a special spawn point, expensive and highly certified for that. So you just have it as a spawn point, but not as a transport actually. And Thunderous to be the usual spawn point with a cloak bubble because you want your spawn points to not be completely bombed every time you deploy them by Reavers or Mozzies or whatever, and especially not by fucking Lips.
I like webs.
They are annoying when you set out a galaxy.
Sites for mosquitoes or reavers.
The thing is, right now, I set up a galaxy. I often set up galaxies. I set up loads of galaxies, but the moment I do it, I know some enemy is just coming down to farm kills, and they're doing that a lot. So everyone is just spawning at my galaxy and just getting devastated by rockets and bombs, and my galaxy eventually dies, and I just couldn't do anything against it because it's like 10 frigging whatever air, and just the few of us who actually spawn get devastated before we can even get into our AMXs. That needs to change. We need spawn points to be hidden.
Okay.
And we need spawn points to not be on roofs everywhere.
They certainly are on roofs everywhere right now.
I'm agreeing with Basti on this mostly, but I'm more interested in why the devs are so against doing this, and that speaks to me as something else. They say they don't want the game played this way, which kind of goes against what I think would be the best methodology is. You put a bunch of tools in the game, and then you see how the players use them. And if something's overpowered, then you cut it back, but not putting something in the game limits how players can play the game and limits the possibilities and how deep the meta people can think about it is. That's something I love about PlanetSide. There's so many things I can think about and so many different ways I can approach targets because there's such a diverse field of tools.
That's true.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have anything that they want to bring up for the roundtable discussion? Anyone?
I've got one. That was in the original lineup for topics. was the Smedley's post about NPC armies being brought into PlanetSide 2. That made me cringe.
I'll agree with that.
For Smedley to conceive that idea, he must have been on smoking something. Why would you bring NPCs into PlanetSide? It's a PvP-based game. You do not do that.
Now, I'll disagree with you there. I think I do know where he's coming from with that, and it's an idea, and it's one that obviously there's some ideas in there, and the idea of NPCs in PlanetSide makes my back of my brain sort of itch and cringe a little bit. But I can kind of see, like, we've talked a little bit in the forums about wildlife NPCs. I know some people have talked about wanting to run over these wildlife NPCs. I don't know how acceptable that would be to some people. I'm sure that's a whole nother barrel of fish that'll come and people will be horrified in all this amazing ways. But in the way of making like NPCs like spawn out bases, come up lanes and attack other bases, that really doesn't feel right to me. The main core idea of PlanetSide is that every single thing you see out there that can kill you, aside from the ground and trees, is controlled by a human being. And that is what is so potent and so wonderful about PlanetSide, is in fact that it is such humanly driven.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Captain. I mean, this is a big issue right now. That this idea has to be completely crossed out. For NPC armies to exist on this game, you'd be taking away all the main concept of what PlanetSide games were based on, just human interaction here. No computer based here. It's all about player fighting. Of course, and I do see some of our viewers here are agreeing that it would be a good idea to have wildlife brought into the game. But then again, I do see players abusing that system and just running them over constantly. I mean, I know some of you guys will be doing that. Basti.
I want to go back to what Higby keeps talking about, and I want to collect bear asses in the game. Is that not something that I'm going to be able to do? I mean, that's... Higby always says he doesn't want it to be in the game, but I want to do that, man. You're taking my play style out of the game, and that's not cool.
But bear asses, really?
Oh, man.
Let me put it this way.
Go ahead.
The day there are any kind of NPCs in PlanetSide 2, may it be wildlife or even bots or whatever, I will have a lot more free hard drive space.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Then we don't need you anymore.
That's true. That's true.
Unless he has time to deal with.
He's going to save hard drive space, folks. Oh, man.
That would be bad for the game.
Yes.
Because I think we all need a little Basti.
Yeah.
No, not really.
We do.
If we lose Basti, then we're kind of a little safe from his insanity.
I think there's some more. I think there's plenty more insane members in the community that are way more insane.
Do I need to step up my game?
I think you might have to. I don't think you want to go that far. Oh man.
I think if they want to do it, though, they're gonna do it.
Yeah, I mean,
let's look at it this way. If let's say PlanetSide never existed and someone just said, "This is my idea and this is my vision," and no one ever gave them a chance to try it out, this wouldn't be the game that we play. So we can't just look at it cut and dry as PlanetSide players. We have to look at it. Hey, if they try it and it fails, do it some sort of testing period or something.
Yeah, I think
I think we've got such a community of developers right now that are passionate about this game. If they want to put it in, fine. Do a test period. Go on a test server, test it out there, and then put it on live. See what happens.
Yeah.
It may work. It may not. And if it doesn't work, guess what? It's going to be gone.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, most of us bet us on playing PlanetSide 2 right now don't like the idea of NPCs being brought in at all, any form. But then again, we could be formed to change up to having the NPC wildlife, for example, and we might actually see birds again.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those.
Change is good.
I think it's one of those things that is in that kind of testing the waters, like way long-term plan that we're not going to be seeing or hearing about probably for the next 2 years or something like that. It sounds like there's way more things that are probably ahead of that. It may not happen. I don't like the idea of it, for sure, but it's if the community is opposed to it enough, they're not going to do it. because then everybody's
Right.
everybody's going to leave, and nobody's going to continue buying stuff.
We're the people that are making them the money.
Right.
So
let's actually ask the community right now. Right now, I mean, those who are in the chat. Let's ask them what they think about this idea right now.
Yeah, sure. We can.
The group that's
we'll see
in
which
right
one.
now is not the group that's going to be in several years' time when they might implement this.
Right.
So things might change.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That is true, but then again, this is I'm asking the community right now what they think about NPCs. I mean, directly in the chat.
Dude, it's clear. Haven't you seen the threats? Everyone went exploded.
Yeah.
Ask Smetty what he smoked. At that point,
there's nothing like having a stampede of buffaloes to squelch an infantry run, an infantry attack, in the plains of Indar. So, no, I don't like the idea. I mean, I'm kind of a purist when it comes to that. I wouldn't want to see NPCs. I mean, they can try it. That's fine. I'll let them. Obviously it's their game. They're developing it, and we'll see. But I honestly believe, and I agree with Basti, it provide a distraction that we don't need in the game. And there's no purpose for it. The whole point of the game is for us to fight the three things. If you're gonna, I think that'll be a distraction. But if they want to try it, let them do it. It'll show that it's not going to work out. And plus, it takes resources from the game. In other words, they're gonna have to render that stuff, and that stuff's gonna have to be in the game. I don't want to have to sort through targets when I'm like I said, jokingly said, with a stampede of buffalo running across whatever they're going to use. I don't want that in the way. I want to focus on what I'm doing here.
It would be pretty brilliant. Still, I mean, you're in a big firefight and just a bunch of buffaloes running across. But nah, just don't do it.
Nah.
Like I said, guys, this is something the community is going to be wanting to vote on. I mean, I was asking that just now for those in chat right now to put in a vote. If you guys want NPCs brought into PlanetSide 2, put 1 in chat. If you don't, put 2 in chat.
Well, I mean, like Basti said, I think this one's been debated to death. Just go do a couple forum searches, and you'll see what we mean on that one. All right, let's go ahead and unless anybody else has 1 or 2 more things that they want to bring up, let's go ahead and call it a night here for Community Night September. Anybody else going once, twice, 3 times? All right. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for joining us here again tonight for another Community Night. It was another great success. I apologize for the random stream issues. It was somewhat on our end, but it was mostly not. And so I apologize if you were having trouble seeing anything that was coming through here tonight. I'm going to go ahead and close out the Google Hangout to see if I can get a more stable stream for the last section of our broadcast here, and see if that helps us out at all.
This is why you don't mess with the settings, Hammond.
Well, I didn't actually mess with anything, which is the strange thing. We've been using this setup to broadcast for, a week? I'm not really sure entirely what's happening on our end, but we are still throwing out a stream. It's just that there's some sync issues here and there, and you're going to see our mouths go out of sync a little bit now and then. Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap things up.
I got something I got to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Shout out to Hammer's mom.
Indeed.
I know you're watching.
I
forgot to shout out the last time, and I felt really bad.
I know, right? My mom always watches the shows, so shout out to my mom for sure. So I think we had a great show tonight. We had a lot of different topics. It was great to finally talk about PlanetSide in a way that is actually tangible, and we don't have to lie about what we're doing or be secret about anything anymore. Everything's on the table now. And
I wasn't lying. I was playing dumb.
Oh, okay. And so we can finally talk about things in a realistic way, and I think that's really exciting. Those of you who are tuning in who may or may not know about us, we are planetside-universe.com, the Araxis Global Network.
Did you give any of those keys out, Ham?
I did. I just put them up on the screen, and there were a few keys that went out. I'm going to post one more in the Twitch chat as the show wraps up, probably after the show, actually. So keep an eye on the Twitch chat, and you may have a chance to get or not another. I hope you don't get a second beta key. You're going to get a chance to get a new beta key if you're not in beta. Anyway, any last thoughts that you have? I don't think I have any.
No, I'm ready to go play PlanetSide.
Is the server back up?
Not that I had seen. It was I got a maintenance. It kicked me to a maintenance webpage. So, I'll take this time to take a break and then be ready for PlanetSide when it comes back up.
Indeed. And those of you out there who check out planetside-universe.com next Saturday at the same time, 7 p.m. Central Time, we're going to have Matt Higbee live on the air in a community roundtable discussion as well as a little bit of interview. Get his thoughts on beta, where it is right now, where it's going.
See how long his hair's gotten.
Right, see how long his hair's gotten. See where we're going in the next couple patches. Excuse me, as I get the hiccups live on the air. Isn't that typical, right? It's the only time that happens. So be sure to tune in next weekend. It should be a really fun show. We'll try and get our stream issues situated before then. Hopefully we can. But in the meantime, this is Hamma, and this is the Araxis Global Network. Maybe we'll stream a little bit after this. I don't know. What do you think? Maybe we'll give it a shot.
Depends on if the server comes up.
If the servers come up, we might do a little streaming. I want to do some testing with one of my other setups here and see if it works. Although if I do it that way, it'll be either me or Jenny Boo, and not both of us. So let us know in Twitch chat which one of us you would like to see.
You want to see me, people.
Which one of us you'd like to see play more if we do some live streaming after this. So anyway, everybody, thank you for tuning in. We had a great turnout tonight for the show, both community and viewers. So thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. It was a great broadcast, and we will see you next week for the Araxis Global Network developer interview with Matt Higbee. You guys have a good week. Catch you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.